Okay, cool. Okay, I see your hand. Okay, so we're going to look at how we'll tackle this problem from start to finish. So I'll just switch to dev mode so that I can be able to pick up things like, highlight things like this. Sure you get. All right. So how I would solve this, number one, first things first, I use a strategy known as client first for all my build. That's the first thing I do. Client first, the client first strategy by Finsweet. So let me just type in client first on Google, and you'll see client first style system for Webflow. Yeah, sure, take note. So we'll have this is going to be in two parts. All right, so that it won't be too long for YouTube. I can imagine, man. Malta is really pretty chill, not too cold. Okay, client first. No, it's not. They're like a different body entirely. It's an entirely different. Yes, search for it separately. So they built a system. They built a system that will help Webflow developers build websites, but then without stress. The major goal is it's like a set of guidelines and strategies to help build Webflow websites, basically. Yes, sure, definitely. You would see your design on Figma like this. You understand? The client doesn't have to know how you're going to build this. This is just you making life easier for yourself, or having a strategy or a style that you're going to use to build out this website. So for every when I started at first, I don't know about this client first. I just hop on Webflow straight up and start building. Sure you get. Straight up and start building. And it was stressful because managing classes, styling classes. Classes are like messed up. Having different kind of classes. When do you reuse class? It was just a lot. But with client first had a little bit of a learning curve. So it won't take you much time. You can later go through their documentation. If you click on it, you'll see everything about them. Welcome to client first. It's just see it as a style guide. It's just a style guide, basically. Sure you get. You're going to customize the style guide for every project that you have. So you see it as a style guide, Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. That's the keyword. Consistency in your design, in your build. And it makes it more professional, makes you more professional because everything is in order. Your classes, your naming structures, the layouts are consistent, the spacing are consistent, the paddings are consistent, the margins are consistent. So yeah, it's a good strategy. There are other strategies too, other style guides. There is one that one guy created, Timothy Ricks. Forgotten the name of his own, but I think I'm okay with this. So these are all for typography. What they use basically REMs, typography strategy, spacing strategy, utility class system strategy, classes strategy, folder strategy, interactions naming, usability, blah blah blah. It's not so much. You don't have to pack everything in your head. Though. It's not just Once you understand this core structure, this thing called core structure strategy. This core structure. This is the most important thing. Once you understand this client first core structure, I think it's one way you can start your day. So this is what I do first. I would click on this get the clonable. See here? Get the clonable. I have to clone the style guide, Yeah. So after looking at the design, I would want to save assets. Things like logos, images, So let's do that. Let's start with the logo. Oh man, I would have a hard time doing. Okay, yeah, logo. I have that. So I have the logo. I will just come here and export the logo first. That's like the most important thing. Make it PNG ×2. and export. So I've exported the logo, it's in my downloads. So let's also export out these images. So now for this image, because I cannot edit this file, it's going to be weird. Okay, let me see. Do I have this image in one place? Okay, let's assume I have selected the image. But now I don't know if this is the two images or just this lady image. But then let me download it. So I'll click on export again. I'll make it ×2, export it out. So let me view it. Let me see what you see, it's just her own. So how do I get this guy now? Okay, I have the guy now. I have the guy. So let me also export the guy's image. So I also have exported the guy's image now. So look at the guy's image here. Okay. Now we're going to look at typography. We're going to look at the fonts, the type of font. Oh, yeah, please, you can mute yourself. I think I can hear sound. Okay, cool. So we're going to look at the type of fonts that they are using, colors, all of that. But before I do that, let's go back to our client first. So mind you, I said I was going to click on clone the clonable, yeah? So I clicked on it. It takes me to this page. This is Webflow's page. You already have your account signed in. Now you're going to clone in Webflow, which means client first is going to open inside the Webflow. You're going to click on create site, depending on the workspace that you're on, whatever. So create sites, and you're going to name. So this is the project. This is the actual project. This is where you're going to start from. Let's say the name of our project is LCN website. So it's going to say LCN. Let's say LCN. So I'm going to click on create site. And it's going to open up in Webflow super fast. All right, so this is it. So we are in Webflow proper. All right. We are in Webflow proper. So Webflow, this is client first style guide. This is it. This is the basics. So client first official starter page. Now, if you click on home, you see we have home here for the pages, to list out the pages. Style guide. This is the style guide page. So if I click on this style guide, it takes me into the style guide. So this is everything that you're going to customize for this particular project. You're going to make this style. If you have any question at any point, may I just ask? Yeah, exactly. So this is, you know how style guide works with Figma now. You're creating a style guide to help you easily build websites and all of that. So this is also a style guide, you know, that will help you. So you're going to customize it. So we have things that are untouchable. There are things you don't touch, like this page wrapper, for instance. Okay, good. Now, if you follow this course structure, if you go through the documentation, course structure, you'll see things that needs to be there, things that needs to be in place, the foundation. All right, these are the foundation, the building blocks. You can edit it too, but it's not necessary. Yeah, so these are like the foundation, things that must be there for it to be client first. It's just their rule. It's not a must, but then you just have to follow their course structure. So the course structure says we should have a page wrapper. Then we should have main wrapper. We should have section identifier. We should have global, padding global. We should have container size. We should have padding section size. Don't worry, we'll go through all of this. Yeah. So the page wrapper is like the Oga Patapata, is what houses everything in that website. So this is how it is. After the body, you're going to create a div block that we're going to call page wrapper. So now, but because you're using client first, it already has that core structure built out. If we go to this home, this is a home page. We have the page wrapper. It's just a div block that they called page wrapper, right? If you open this page wrapper, you're going to see a global style. This is untouchable. Just leave it. It's what client first uses. Now, yeah, it's a component. Just don't worry about it. Now you're going to see a main wrapper. Inside this main wrapper, this is where all your sections are going to be. from the hero section. Oops, tab crashed. Maybe reload the page. That's very weird. So yeah, let's start again. Page wrapper, main wrapper, and let me just delete this guy. So we have page wrapper and main wrapper. That's all we need to know for now. If you follow the course structure, you see we now have page wrapper and main wrapper. All right. So we have section identifier. Now, if you follow what this screenshot is showing, page wrapper, main wrapper, section header. All right. Section header, which means section, you can call it anything, or hero section, assuming they want to build the hero section. All right. This assumes they want to build this hero section. Okay. You can call it section hero section. You can say section hero. So they call it section, but mind you, you put section, and if you go through the documentation, you will see when to use dash, and you will see when to use underscore. You will see why you need to use underscore, or where you need to use dash or underscore. You use underscore, when you are creating a component or a folder. This is like a folder. Now, inside your section, you will now have padding. No, now the page wrapper with the dash is, if it's a dash, let's go and see. Let's just see what they would say about outermost parent of all blah blah blah. The div block wraps every element. Styles for page wrapper are optional. Styles can be applied if needed. However, this element should not be heavily styled. Okay, you don't have to style it. Okay, give me a second. Class strategy. Types of classes. We have utility classes. You know, this. If it has a dash, it's a utility class. All right. And what's a utility class? A class created with a specific combination of CSS properties that can be applied to elements globally across the project. You don't have to stress too much. All right. These are just big grammar. We have custom classes as well. A custom class created for a specific component, page grouping, blah, blah, blah. So we have two things: utility classes, custom classes. Now we call this a custom class because it is custom outside of our project's utility class. Now, what that means is, let's go back to course structure. Now, we have two types of classes: utility classes and custom classes. Utility classes are classes that are global. Classes that are global, which means they are open. You can repeatedly use them across different pages. Basically, they are global. While custom classes are specific to a particular page. Basically, they are custom. Now, you can identify utility classes or custom classes. Yes, exactly. That is just particular to that page. Page wrap, like for instance, this page wrapper, or let's not use page wrapper. This section underscore header is a component or a folder. That's why we are using underscore. All right. Padding dash global is a utility class because it is something that you see across every page. The page wrapper, this one. Yes, for instance, footer too. Yes, exactly. Those are utilities. You can use them across. This padding global is utility class. It's just static. It's just what it is. Container large utility. You know, it's something that can be reused on different pages, and it doesn't change that much. Container large does just one job. Padding global does just one job, and after that job, that is it. You cannot do more than one thing on this padding global. You cannot add another styling on top of what it is called to do. It is called container large because it's doing this. Full stop. You cannot go and say you want to style it again and add another CSS styling on it. It is editable, but you shouldn't do it on. Don't do it on it. Yes, exactly. Once you set up this structure here, know that for life, you are, aside from the job that this padding global is doing, you will not, don't do anything on it. This container large, aside from the job that it's supposed to do, if you want to style anything, put in another div block inside of it. Then, yeah, that is, okay. As long as you have your Figma design, you're going to style, you're going to customize all this container large to fit that. Yeah, all based on the Figma. The Figma is what they want. The Figma design is what they want. So we already know that there's a padding here, right? And a padding here across every page, all right? So the padding is like this. You already know all of this and all of this from your design. You already know that there's a padding here that cuts across. So this is where you will now, from here, you can now define what it is you're doing. You customize this page to fit. Yes, exactly. That's a good question. That is why they have, from the style guide, let's go to the style guide. They have different kinds of containers. They have the container medium, container large, container small. If you see the container small, this is how it looks like. It's going to compress every content like this. Container medium looks like this. Container large spans from here to here. So these are the things that you'll be styling. Let's say, for instance, this one is untouchable. No need to style anything here. Nothing to style here. Container medium now, for instance, I click on it. I click on it. And okay. This is what we're going to edit. This is what we're going to customize or style. Let's say container medium, container small from our project is bigger than this, because the work of this container small is just to say maximum width 48 rem. Sure you get? That means if you are using container small, it's going to contain every element inside in this width of 48 rem. That is all. That's the job for life. Nothing else. You cannot say, let us add color. Yeah, that's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing you are permitted to do. You are permitted to say, okay, from my design, it is that now you are customizing the style guide. Our container small is not 48 rem, is 52 rem. Just type 52. See, it has increased a bit. Yeah. Now, if you don't know about this rem thingy, if what you know is pixels, let's say 1000, let's say 800 pixels, all you need to do is just to type 800 divided by 16. It will give you the number in rem. That's 50 rem. Okay, to convert to rem, rems, let's say this is in pixels, for instance, pixels, and the number you have is in rems. Sorry, it's in pixels from your design. Yeah, let's say, for instance, let's say this section is a container small, for instance, from here to here, and how would you now know? And let's say you've calculated from here to here is giving you 800 pixels width, and you say, okay, you're going to put this here. Okay, between, no, that one is also solvable, but that one is solvable, so don't worry. Yeah, and you have 800. You just say, okay, if you're going to use a container small, what we need to do is to say, okay, 800 divided by 16. Good. If I press enter, it will just tell me 50 pixels. So you still need to add REM. So it will change that 50 pixels to rem, or you can choose from here and say 50 rem. There are lots of units. Yeah, so basically this client first uses rem. You get. So yeah, But then for the most part of this project, I always use container large, which is 80 rem, which is like the standard GK, which is like the general standard, unless the website is very customizable. Every website I've worked on, I always use container large, sorry. This one now is container large that I used. So you get, but there's a way you can make things still flow in the middle without touching the edges. For instance, my portfolio website, I use Figma. Yeah, sure, 100%. This is their Figma file here. Yeah, they always be I'm just a Webflow developer. Oh, they give me a Figma file. Oh, this is their Figma file. But if you don't have design, I have designers too that will first of all do the design before. Personally, at this point, I don't. I just onboard whoever is a designer. I have lots of peeps and say, yo, come, let's work on this project together. But for the most part, companies have just come with their design, and I just do what I have to do. So yeah, so this particular one I'm talking about, how am I not seeing it? But yeah, let's assume I open this guy here. You will see their Figma design and how crazy it is, how overwhelming it is. But you just have to not panic and do what you have to do, man. Okay, before it loads, like my website now, I use container large across every section, you know. So if you see, the highest this site can go is here. Here you get, it cannot start in a weird place because of the container large feature. It's restraining every element or section. You see, okay, all of now, this is the maximum limit. Yeah, this is the maximum limit you guys can go. You cannot do like this or do like that, unless for some special occasion, like animations. Like now, because of this animation, notice how it's going inside, and that one is animation part that would say, regardless of your container large, I am authorized to act like this or do like this. Yeah, full update. So look at this guy's one. See how crazy it is. Plenty pages. Organized page, this page, Nigeria page. It's a lot too. It's just homepage is your pata. If you can do landing, if you solve the landing page, every other page is just will come in play. You know, if you can solve this page, yeah, it's mostly repetitive and it's the most important page that every user would go on. You can joke with every other page, but do not joke with the home page. Never joke with the home page. See now, this one is starting from here, This one is not starting from there. It's more smaller. This one is cutting across, animated. This one is starting from here, So yeah, it's because of our container large. So yeah, that's it basically. So let's go back to this. Now, what we want to do next is we are going to work with container large, obviously. Padding global is also a feature that is very good. It just adds padding left and right. 2.5 rem, 2.5 rem. It's constant. I don't change it. I use it. I don't change it. It's also a core need. It's also a foundation. We now have, this is where we are at. We are in padding global, which is the work. This is the guy here, padding global. The job is just to add 2.5 padding so that it will not misbehave or try to hit edges. What that means is, how can I explain? For instance, what if container large starts from here? It will be very weird for your website to also start from here. Let me do a perfect example. This website now. Which site will I use now? Okay, let's say this Willow. Now, because this particular website or all websites, what if your container large starts from here? It cuts across here to the end. Padding global is what will make it not touch this wall. It also still add a little bit of spacing. So it's not be weird enough. Let's say assume, let me inspect this page. You see? So close. Why it's not touching? It's because of that padding global. It's a global padding. So that is just the work. Do not allow it to touch the wall. So this is it. So before it gets to its maximum container large, a padding global is also padding it so that it will not misbehave and be hitting. You know how weird it will look now for websites to be hitting. So exactly. So it can never touch the wall. Never. No matter how small it gets, because of that padding global. You see, this is responsive design. Their own is not even responsive. You see these guys. But yeah, because normal mobile responsiveness starts at 375. So you see here it's 350. So once it's responsive at 350, you are good. So don't worry about if it's not responsive at this point. Nobody cares because there's exactly. So I just use 375 to judge. If it's good at maybe 360 but mostly 375. If I can judge from here, if it's good here, I'm good for life. See, this is responsive design. It's very, very responsive. Even my website safe. Let me inspect. 376 is good. See, everything is just in the middle. It's not touching. It's because of that thing called padding global. Yeah, you see, this one is touching because of obviously the feature. It's just passing. So yeah, this one is not. You can never touch. It will be very good to touch. So yeah, that's basically it's about padding global. So yeah, what did I just do? Can you hear me? Then what the fuck did I just do? Okay, I closed the what's it called? The preview. But that's not the point. So, okay, yeah. So okay, it's back. Can I delete it? Okay, good. So we have padding section small, padding section large. So following our course structure, we have this after padding global, container large, obviously, then padding section size. Padding section size, it's something that adds padding top and bottom. It's a top and bottom padding structure. All right, it's a top and bottom padding structure. For instance, my website again. You see, this is my hero section, right? This is the work of that padding section. Well, let me not use. Yes, exactly. For instance, this section, there's a padding here, so that this next section will not touch this guy, this first section. So you see how you are creating the foundation. Yeah, you do that individually for every section. If you are starting a new section, you will repeat the structure. So you see, because of that padding section, yes, yeah. Okay, like for instance here, use these sites now to tell me where, like this section, and here. Oh, yeah, okay, nice. That one now, okay, nice one. Yes, it is. Okay, now this one that I'm explaining now is this one now, padding section. That yes, exactly between sections. Now they separate all of this. So this is a new section. There's a padding here, and there's a padding here. So we'll talk about this one too. Sure, you get. Yeah, nice one. That one is. Those ones are custom classes. So yeah. Okay. So we are at padding section. Once you don't reach this point, you will now breathe. Oof. You've created your core structure for your first section. So let's go back to Webflow. So now padding section large, the only work it's doing is to add 8 rem up and down. See? So that it will not touch another section. That's the only job. There's no any other styling anywhere, nothing. Don't add any other styling. This blue color means the only CSS property it has. But because of the customized design, it can be 10 rem. You can edit it and say, oh, let's make it 10. Let's make it 10 across every page, up and down. You can say 10 because of our design, following your design or whatever. 10. You can make it 8877. But
you get like
in another section, yeah, if you ever edit this guy from here, it will affect it would universal here. That's why it's called global styling. It's called utility. They are unique. If you touch it here, wherever that name has been mentioned, it affects that page too. So you only change once and it goes everywhere. Sure you get? Yeah, that's that. So, but then they have padding section, medium, padding section, small. In some sections, the padding may not be the same. A hero section, the down section may have just small padding in between. Yeah, so you use padding section small. You know, it's just 3 rem by separating it up and down. Yes. Yeah, sure, you can. You can. I feel padding section, this should just be used once. Yeah, you can use other things to create spacing. Here you get, there are other methods you can use to create spacing. Just use it once for the sake of, just as how they have in their core structure. Like this. Once you call it once on a particular section, you should not use it again inside the same section. There are other things you can do. Here you get. So that, now for the text or font typography, heading tags, H1. You will now go and look at your design. Okay, this is our H1. Our H1 is 81 font size, right? H1 is 81. H1 is 81, right? And the color is this dark blue. So you come and go and style our H1. You say, okay, oh, our H1. Now what you're going to do is very tricky. We are on H1. Do not come here and just say H1 is, sorry. Do not come here and just say 81 or 80. 80 divided by 16, hit enter. It gives you the equivalent, 5 rem, right? Now, don't do it like this. If you do it like this, it's going to create a class called heading. Whereas what you want to do, you want to target the root of the H1 without creating a weird class for yourself. Because the goal is to stay as classless as possible. Here you go. The goal is to stay as classless as possible. So don't do this. If you do it, so yeah, don't do it like this. If you do it like this, as if people follow this structure, you have a class name heading. Doesn't make sense. You want it in a way that no, we'll get to that. They are reusable classes. Obviously, these ones are just standards. Call things. So that wherever you call H1, because if you do it like this, you are only saying this H1, this 5 rem is not across every H1. It's just for this heading class H1. What if you don't want to call H1 on another page? It would not be 5 rem. It will be 4 rem until you now come and say heading. Don't do it like this. There are places where there are times where you don't worry, we'll get to that part. What I'm trying to do, I want to make H1 generally be 5 rem. H1 everywhere, globally. Alright? So I take it out. So this is H1 globally being 4 rem. That means wherever I call H1, boom. If I call H1 anywhere, it's going to come as 4 rem. But what if I want to change that? What I'm going to do is I am clicking on H1. I will come here and click on this style selector, click on this icon and say all H1 headings. All H1. I want to affect all H1 heading. So wherever someone called H1, so I click on all H1 headings, and I'll now come and see now 5 rem. See, it's now, yeah, on your own, you must have analyzed the design on paper and say, okay, my H1 is 80 pixels. Where is my H2? My H2 is this, is 46 pixels. Where is my H3? This one is still H2, 46. H3, maybe, this one is still 42. Okay, so we only have H1 and H2. Okay, this one can be our H3. Maybe it can be 50 sharp, or even though it's 50, there are ways you can go about it. But yeah, these are H. So we just have H1, H2, and H3 to worry about. All right. Okay. No, H3 should be 40 pixels, something like this. All right. Yeah. So H1, we've said 80, which is 5 frame. H2, do the same. We want to affect all H2 headings. Is 46, right? 46. So just type 46 divided by 16. It's already in rems. Hit enter. It gives you 2.87. So H3 is 40. You come and say H3. Affect all H3 headings. We see 40 divided by 16, 2.5. So we got 2.5 rem, 2.8 rem. Let's just, okay, shoot. Yeah, this is the, yeah, yes. This is, no, we are on Webflow, sure, you know. But we are on the style guide page. Now, if you go to your home page, anywhere you call H1, it's going to customize. Yeah. See, now I call H1. H1 is 5 frame. Because of what we did there on the style guide. Yeah, exactly. So that style guide page is very important. That's where you go and customize every section, every element, sorry. Even colors. Let's not waste too much time here. Let's just go to colors, for instance. Not even colors. Let's go to buttons. Let's just do buttons. So primary button, let's assume primary button is this color, yeah? Primary button is this. Where is the color here? How do I get it? Okay, look at the color here. Let me copy it. Let's assume that's our primary button. Secondary button is this orange. So you just go to your style guide, go to colors, buttons, sorry. So we have buttons. So we have a class name for it, button, primary. You can just give it, maybe say primary, call it, you can rename the class name. Primary dash button. So this is a utility class. Come here and just change it from black. Yeah, it's basically a class that you can reuse it, but then it is consistent across. It's just there. You know, there's custom classes. You would see example of custom classes and utility classes. These are utility classes. Button is large. So now this is primary button. We change the color to this. Does it have any round corners? It doesn't. So it's just there. And secondary button would be this is secondary. But so this is primary button is secondary. It's like a combo class. Sure you get. That means take all the properties of primary button, give it to me. However, secondary, let's make it secondary. Let us edit it from there. Let us pick it up from there. Yes, and more. To just changes, because if you let's take out this is secondary, for instance, it has gone back to the primary. And if you say you want to start touching things, as you are touching things, it's affecting everybody. Sure you get? So the best way to not make it affect everybody, add a combo, yes, so that it just be particular to that element. Yeah, so is secondary. This is how they style their is secondary, just outline. But we don't want that. We want it to still be the same thing. So the color is like an orange color. Go back here and pick that orange. That orange color here. So I've copied it. Come to Webflow and I paste it. It doesn't have any black border. So just come here and take away this style, reset it. No borders, just reset all these guys. Reset it, no color, nothing. So reset takes it back to the defaults. So yeah, just take it all out. So that's how we want our secondary button to be. So boom, we are done with our primary button, secondary button. Let's just assume we are done with everything. We can always do everything from the actual design. So back to the home page. So let me delete this guy. So the first thing you want to do after your page wrapper, main wrapper, inside main wrapper, you put in a div block inside. So what did I press? I pressed Command E for this quick find. And I'm going to type div for div block. Boom. We have our div block inside. All right. Okay. Are you there? Okay, good. Now following our course structure, what did they say? After main wrapper, put section identifier. What section do we want to create? We want to create the hero section. So we're going to call this div block section underscore hero. You see? You created it yourself. Section underscore hero. For the sake of the course structure, we've added this part now. Section underscore identifier. That means whatever you want to identify. So you can call it section first, section hero section, section header. They mostly say header because it's the header section. Another thing you need to note, that section header, you have to go and tag it as a section for the sake of SEO. I think they mentioned this some way. So yeah, you have to go and tag it as a section. This primary use case of the section gives you a better workflow inside of whatever. This element organizes our nav view and helps a quick. So this div block wraps an entire section of content. It's recommended to set the HTML tag for this section for this element to section. We do this on the settings, blah blah blah. So they are telling you everything section. You have to come here to settings and tag it. It's tagged as a div block, but you tag it to what section? So that when Google is crawling it, it knows where to start from. This is the heading. Do you get? Wrap, yeah? Are you there? Okay, good. Now the next thing you want to do, following our course structure, you want to say padding global. So what you're going to do, you're going to put in a div block, Command E, div. So inside our section hero, you see how I did not add any styling to it. But for the sake of our design, we are going to assume that this section is taking at least 80% of the viewport's height. Normally it should be 100%, depending on the design. But this one is not taking up to 100%, it's just taking, let's say, 70%. So what you can do is, on this section hero, we're going to say the minimum height, 70 VH. See? That's the only thing I'm going to do for life until needed. Something else is needed. Okay, 70 VH means it's taking 70 viewport height of the page. That means it can be 100 VH is the standard. Yes. If you look at 100 VH, you see, it's taking everything you are seeing. Everything you're seeing at first glance is always 100 viewport height, like this now. This one is about 80 VH because you can still see the next section popping up. Let me go to their homepage. This is like, you can still see this one is not, this one for something like this, there is no defined viewport height because it's showing this is also part of the homepage. You understand? But you have to scroll to see it. Let's look at these guys, for instance. This is their 100 VH. All right, showing everything. Sure you get. I wonder why their nav menu is here. Yes, viewport height. Now you can, I'm just using VH, you can use pixels, for instance, from our design. This could be from here to here. This rectangle is it 130 of height? I don't think it's up to, I don't think that's a rectangle. Home, rectangle, nope. Okay, this is the height, 761. I think that should be it. Okay, let's assume that's it, 761. But me, I like to use VH so that it will be perfect across different screens. You can't really 760. Let's me 760. Enter. Okay, sorry, not on the div block. On okay, now off to get VH from pixels to VH. Let me do a quick Google from PX to VH. From pixels to VH to viewport. Convert from pixels to VH. 700. Okay, yeah, this is how you know. If you say 700 pixel, it gives you 66 VH. So that's, let's say that one is so 760, right? So you see roughly 70 VH. Here you get. So what you want to do is to come and say, okay, oh, this hero section, this section hero, they say your total is 70 VH. So it starts from here to here. Here you see the blue line. See that blue line? If you want to see what it is, what it looks like, just try giving it a background color. Just for the fun of it. So that you see what you're doing. If that section is black, you add a black background. Something like that. So let's just leave that this color first, so I'll be seeing what we are doing for now. Now we have a div block. Look at our div block here. They say we should call that div block padding global. Now, mind you, padding global is a utility class. The moment I start typing PADD, it breaks out, it's calling from the style guide. You see? See all of this? Do you see? It's giving you, what's it called? That's the English I'm looking for. It's giving you, it's your opinion or whatever they call it. Suggestions, exactly. It's giving you suggestion. What do you want to? It's making life easier for you because everything's already on the style guide. Everything's already been named on the style guide. It's just for you to be calling it, but you know what you're doing. Padding. Just finish before you finish tapping padding. You just see plenty suggestions. This one we're looking for. Padding global. Boom. So our div block is now padding global, and the work of that div block is just to do this. That is all. And now, following the course structure, it says create a container size. Now say, okay, well, inside our padding global, let us bring in a div block again. So now we are creating our structure. See? Padding global cuts from edge to edge. But that 2.5 padding left and right makes the next section start from here to here. Here you see? So by doing so, nothing ever touches the edge. Do you get? Now they say we should call our padding, our next div block container large. You now type container. There is container large, container medium, container small. Following our design, what we need is container large. You will now say container large. It almost looks like nothing is happening, but this is the core structure. This is the foundation you are setting. So we have the page wrapper, main wrapper, section hero, padding global, container large. Now the last core structure is padding section size. You now come here and say, oh yeah, I'll bring in a div block inside, and we're going to call it padding section. It gives you option. Padding section large is what I'm looking for. Boom. Can you see? Can you see? Well, what it does is it's adding top and bottom padding. 10 rem, 10 rem. So after now, you can now take control and flex on your muzzle and customize it however, following patterns, not just anyhow. So that's the last thing you need to do for yourself. We followed the core structure up to here. So we are here, padding section large. When you think of core structures as layers or div block surrounding our page content, each layer has a specific use to help us build web pages. So they are now explaining all the core structure. You may want to go through it. It's very easy to understand. So after that, you will now say, okay, oh, you have arrived. Inside of padding section large, you put in a div block. So this is where our div block is now starting from, this middle, because there's a big padding here, up and down. Shall you see? Do you get? Good. So we're now going to call this div block. Since you call this one section hero, you're going to call this one hero underscore component. Hero component. So we are going to create, we just created a div block called hero component underscore because it's serving like a folder. It's serving like a folder. That's why you use underscore. If it's an underscore, that means it's a component or a folder, but not this their own Webflow component too. Components for client first. That's what they said. There are some things you do, you use underscore. After hero component, you put in another div block inside. Following our design, what do we have here? We have this layout. Left is image, right is text. Yeah. Now, this our section, hero section, is having this green color, right? So that's what we're going to use. I've copied it. Instead of this black, come and click on this section, hero, and give it, that's our, see? Small, we're almost there. See, we now have this part. So left to image to the left, text to the right. What that means is from this, your hero component, you now have to start thinking by yourself as your client first has helped you to this point. But from here, you now be thinking, okay, what do I do? Image to the left, write-ups to the right. What that means is this hero content is where you're going to put image to the left, write-up to the right. Now, what that tells you is this hero component, you're going to make it a flex box. Flex box helps you display content the way you want. Left, right, top, bottom, you know. So inside this hero component, you're going to have two more div blocks. You have to create these blocks of things in your head. Inside this hero component, we're going to have two div blocks. This first div block is what will serve as the image. Second div block is what will serve as the write-ups. So let me do that. So we have first div block, second div block. This one needs to be on the left-hand side. This one needs to be on the right-hand side. But right now, they are top and bottom. Very simple way to solve it. Click on your hero component and say, oh yeah, I want my two children, these two children, to display horizontally. See? Display, flexbox, direction, horizontal. See? We now have the two children displaying side by side. You now tell yourself, I don't want them to be close to each other. I want them to be far apart. Go back to the parents and say you want them to justify start to end. Boom. If you click it, the first child is here, second child is there. You see? So that's how you think. By doing so, you've said, oh, first div block, now you get this image. Second div block, now you get all this text and write up and styles. So that's, now inside your first div block, we're going to call it hero, let's say hero image. Yeah, let's say hero image, yeah, or images. Hero images wrapper. Now you go wrap all the images. Mind you, I always repeat hero because everything I'm doing is particular to the hero section. Everything I'm doing is particular to the hero section. So you just keep calling it first and underscore. Hero underscore content. Wrapper. Now you go wrap all the content or the write-up. So this hero image, we're now going to bring in an image. Choose image. I think I downloaded this lady. Drag it into your assets. It's going to come up. You're now going to bring in another image. Or there are two. Let's assume there are two. Second one is going to be this, my guy. Drag it inside your guy here. So we have the two of them. We now have to study how they are placed. We still have all this abstract. That's why I wanted to pick this entire image as one. You understand? Do you get? No, not that. You can just go out of this dev mode. Then you can, I think this group 2.5. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's export it. Let's export that entire group 251. And let's just use it instead of stressing ourselves. Yeah, so let's just come here. But if you really want to do badass things, you have to like build it everything as it is in Webflow. Like if you want this female to be different, this guy to be different, this abstract background to be different for international purposes. But it's not necessary. It depends. It's not necessary. Trust me. It's not all necessary. So yeah. So this is it. Let's say it's not that big like that. Just say like this. Yeah. So if I preview now, this is what we have so far. You see? This is where we are at. So for the course of this, we'll stop here. We are like 1 hour already. Okay? No, I did not even see that, but I said it was going to be like a 1 hour thing. Do you have the strength to keep going? No, I needed to go and build up to this level that I've built. That's the point. Before we continue again, you get. So you need to go and practice. It's not, we can be doing this. Today is Tuesday, yeah. I can just spare out 1 or 2 free times when I have time. You too, maybe when you have time now, you say, okay, or when you push yourself and you don't reach this level, you tell me, Omo, you are here now, no, let's go ahead. Or you are having an issue here, you're having a problem there. And if I get a new project, I think we'll just hop on calls while I'll be building this, you'll be seeing too. Hey, girl, I can do that.